Well, one of the sectors that's been most affected by the COVID-19 lockdown is the restaurant industry. At the moment, of course, under lockdown level 3, you're only allowed to order a takeaway or have food delivered to you. Then there is the announcement, you saw it here just a moment ago, the President, Cyril Ramaphosa, due to address the nation at 8 o'clock tonight. There's been a lot of talk about what's called advanced level 3. Wendy Alberts is the CEO of the Restaurant Association of South Africa. She joins me now. Wendy, good evening to you. Thank you for your time on the Pulse. Are you expecting any announcements around your industry in the next few hours?
Thank you, Stephen. So we were anticipating that we would have had some form of consultation today, but our attorneys have been in contact with Dr. Tao from COGTA, who advised us that there will be a briefing with the ministers only tomorrow. So there's been a postponement for that announcement till tomorrow. So we're also waiting patiently on that, and we're waiting to see what the results will be for us on the reopening of restaurants, as well as what the parameters and framework will be in terms of the operating protocols.
Okay, I mean, obviously there are big questions around whether restaurants should open or not. The first question is, do you believe that restaurants, sit-down restaurants, people sitting and eating food in a commercial establishment, do you believe it can be done safely?
Absolutely. You know, Stephen, we've been very credible in terms of the SOP that we put out to government to show our readiness as an industry. You know, we've been compliant since the start of COVID. We've certainly embraced all the health and hygiene standards, and we've been a forefront leader in the country in managing COVID and managing the staff's well-being as well as our customers. And I think at every level that they've reopened us, we've completely displayed our investment into our businesses as well as into the country to ensure that we slow down the curve. So notwithstanding moving forward into sit-down, we can safely have social distancing in the restaurants. We've got a beautiful landscape in South Africa, and you know, we need to get back to business. We need to reopen our restaurants in the format that restaurants are about. You know, we've completely decimated the industry while we've been trying to assist managing the COVID spread at the expense of our own livelihoods and many staff's livelihoods.
Wendy, if restaurants are allowed to open, we don't know if there will be an announcement tonight or tomorrow or at some point in the future, is there going to be enough demand? Do you think people will actually want to go and sit down and go out into the sort of in the era of COVID-19 and sit down at a restaurant?
Even the beautiful thing is, you know, we've got wonderful restaurants around the country. We've had a lot of restaurants that have closed, and it's very sad to see beautiful places that have shut their doors permanently. There are many tourism belts, and, you know, as you well know, tourism brings a large portion of people to our restaurants. Domestic tourism on certain other parts like your KZN area, Ballito and Shlonga areas. Your areas in Cape Peninsula have obviously been dramatically affected. So every day we've lost hundreds of restaurants, and there certainly is a list currently being formulated of where these restaurants are and who's closed, that we can approach government in terms of a strategy to reopen these restaurants on these belts. But notwithstanding that, what we've also done is consumer research, and the consumer is very eager for us to get back to reopening the industry, to bring the experience, and for them also to get back to a sense of normality.
And are you finding that government, the UIF, the Unemployment Insurance Fund, have they been supporting your sector as they've been supporting other sectors?
Even at drastic times of the UIF, I mean, we are in a critical state with them. We've made every attempt to try and resolve the outstanding payments that we have with the UIF. A month ago, the Commissioner, as you well know, was very amenable to putting a task team for RASA, and they certainly went out of their way and endeavoured to get payments through, and we saw a lot of success on that task team. What's happened now is that they've gone cold. They are certainly not working with anybody. They keep promising to give us feedback, so we're in constant communication. We've got a lot of challenges. They put a very irresponsible statement out saying that there would be an investigation going into whether or not the restaurateurs had actually paid over the money to the staff. And this has really compromised a lot of our restaurateurs, because we've got staff that are making demands for those payments, and we've got to now manage the relationship between staff and restaurateurs, because it's becoming quite hostile. You can imagine 14 weeks into your unemployment, you haven't received payment. The next big challenge that we've had with the UIF, which is really critical to us, is that we've got some restaurants who were given notification of 238,000 Rand in their UIF pockets, and the next day when they went to find out why it had not been released, the money had suddenly disappeared. The restaurants have been locked out of their UIF profiles, and we're struggling to get answers from the UIF. So our attorneys, Mooney and Ford, have certainly written to the UIF and demanded that they give us these answers. and they've told us that they're not working for the next 4 days. So we have to now wait until early next week before we engage again to get answers on what has happened to large sums of money on many restaurants that were bound for release of payments. And then what we did get through today is a very small restaurants got 1 or 2 people paid, just almost to keep the noise level down.
Wendy Alberts, thanks very much indeed, CEO of the Restaurants Association, and she'll be one of the people, along with you, I imagine, watching the President speak tonight at 8 o'clock.